LaQuina Taisha Williams. I am an achiever. I'm a believer. I'm a motivator. I'm a listener. I'm a leader. I'm a follower in the path that God directs me in.
I am doing just fine.
Good.
I am in awe of you.
Thank you. I love the hair.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I was reading some things about you.
Really?
Yes. I would see your pictures on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I remember seeing your graduation picture. Is that from MUSC?
Yes, ma'am.
And I was like, how did I lose track of her? How did she accomplish so much in so little time?
Time is flying. And as soon as you reached out to me, I was like, of course, Miss Goodwin. And can you also mail me a plate of food?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't cook as much as I used to because I don't have the Claflinites.
I know.
Lay back a little bit. It's just Charles and I.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. So tell me, what are you doing now?
After school, I went into family medicine as my primary specialty. So I actually work near Charlotte area. I live in like the Rock Hill area, but I work at what's called Federally Qualified Health Center. Basically, it's for all patients, but specifically low income, rural area patients, just providing family medicine services to them. I also work part-time at urgent care because I love urgent care as well. And I just like knowing a little bit about everything versus everything about one thing. So that's why I like family medicine as well as urgent care. Urgent care is more of the acute setting. You don't know what you're going to get. People are coming in for this, that. You treat it, and then you say, oh, follow up with your PCP. And then Monday through Friday, I am the PCP. So I am, family medicine, treating anything from little cuts and scrapes and UTI to diabetes, hypertension, basically family medicine is that middle person provider.
So when you were at Claflin University, what was your major?
I majored in biology, and biology at Claflin automatically comes with a tacked on minor in chemistry. Okay. So that's how I did it.
And from Claflin, you went to the Medical University of South Carolina.
So I did actually take a gap year, but it just doesn't feel like a gap year because time flies so fast. A little bit about, and this may be an upcoming question, why PA, I'm not sure, but through Claflin University is very big on research. So I started there in research. Each summer I kind of had an internship going on. So first year was more so microbiology in the lab, looking at different viruses, bacteria, things like that. I was like, this is cool, but I think I want to do something else. So second summer, did molecular biology, did an internship at University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. That was more so molecular biology. That's when I really got into like diabetes because it's really prevalent in minority communities. But this was more so on the molecular level. So, using animal studies, mice and rats and things like that, because their metabolic makeup is very similar to humans, things like that. So at that point, I thought I wanted to get a PhD in epidemiology, which is the study of like diseases and things like that. Then I was like, oh, okay, came back to school. Then junior summer, ended up doing MHERT program, was an internship through University of Alabama, Birmingham. And that was more so global public health. So more so patient interaction instead of being in the lab. So I got sent to Montego Bay, Jamaica. And that's when chikungunya virus was very prevalent. It's kind of similar to dengue fever and Zika virus, et cetera, et cetera. So we
Mhm.
did case studies with that, whether women got it more, men, whether you were pregnant, younger, older, depending on what area you were geographically, just more so a case study like that. So when I came back, I thought I wanted to do a master's in public health. And at that time, Claflin had a 3+1 program with USC and Columbia. So you could start out your senior year doing master level courses. And after you graduated, you only had 1 year left and you'd have your MPH Masters in Public Health. So I had already been accepted to the program, everything. And then I was like, this is nice. What can I do with this? I can go work at DHEC. I can go out in the community and serve. But part of me still wanted to see patients because when I was 3 years old, my mom told me I always said I wanted to be a doctor, be a pediatrician specifically. But, after matriculating, I realized that kids was not my forte. So anyway, went to Orangeburg Hospital, RMC. They were hiring medical scribes, which is a position that helps you accumulate patient care hours. I worked in the ER, the emergency department. And that's when I met my first physician assistant.
Oh.
And I looked and I said, wow, so you see patients, you treat them, you write prescriptions, you diagnose, you order imaging, you can go into any specialty you want without having to do a quote residency, et cetera, and you get to have a good work-life balance. That's what I want to do.
Who was this physician assistant that you met at TRMC?
Her name is actually Kanita McMillan Hill.
You mentioned her, and she used to work at the Medical Center of Santee.
Wow, I did not know that.
She was at one time my doctor.
Really?
Yes. And then I was wondering where she went.
So she has always, and to this day, communication with her is amazing. She's still been a great mentor to me. She also works in urgent care too when she's not in the ER. And, I started talking to my different deans and professors and stuff, and I kind of knew that that's what I wanted to do. So that's what I worked on, my senior year. Also met Melanie Sheppard, who's a family medicine physician assistant. And she worked for RMC Primary Care, shadowed her. And after I graduated, basically, the application cycle opens around like April, May. We were graduating in May. So that's why it didn't feel like a gap year because I was in the midst of applying to multiple schools. And I left, RMC, moved to Columbia, and I became a caregiver or, kind of like a CRNA or CNA, excuse me, not CRNA, CNA, certified nursing aide. But I just did the caregiver route because I knew that I wanted to get back into school immediately and I didn't want to do something that would take more time. So I would go into different clients' homes and be like an aide for older patients who may need medication or just someone to sit with them at night, prepare meals, just to kind of help out around the house. And I also got patient care hours like that, as well as shadowing Miss Sheppard and Kanita helped me with hours too. Then I became a scribe at urgent care in Columbia while I was living there. And that's actually the urgent care that I work at now as a PA on the weekend. And so after I got my patient care hours, interviewed in the midst of all of that, got accepted into school. And that was around Thanksgiving. And school started that following May. So I had about 5-6 months wiggle room to, work a little bit more, enjoy, go to Charleston, find an apartment. And like before I knew it, I was back in school.
As you mentioned those people, it takes my mind to what I always say that we should all do, and that is plant seeds.
Yes.
Those people that you meet in life that plant seeds in your life, and those seeds grow. And you're the result of meeting some people you knew sort of what you wanted to do. You were in the right area, but you just needed to run into the right people for more guidance. And you saw what you wanted to be. When you saw it, you knew it.
Yes.
It is just amazing to me that I would watch you. And I know there were times when you couldn't even come spend time with us when everybody else was coming because you were so busy. But you came when you could, because you know what was here when you came.
Yes, and it was much better. No shade, Claflin University, I love you. But it was so much better than going to the cafeteria or, fast food. I will say Orangeburg Hospital has some good food, but it was definitely good to come and kind of have that home away from home environment feel because we all want to go off and pursue our goals and dreams. But my mom and dad were so grateful for you and Mr. Goodwin taking us in, giving us a hot meal, having some good time, remembering why you started, staying rooted and grounded in the word, and just remembering that when times get tough, to know why you started. So I really appreciate that.
I always enjoyed being around you, spending time with you and having conversations, what you were blooming into. I was just so impressed. I read where you talked about some hardships, some things you didn't even remember about your childhood, like with your sister and what happened. But there are people that have had hardship. I knew you grew up a country girl.
Oh, yes.
You always made that known, because at least you knew every vegetable that you were eating at our table. It's just wonderful that I think that you are quite an inspiration to kids who think that they have to, I guess, cut off their success at a certain level. They would never think to move up in the medical field. I am not one of those people that ever liked science, but as I listened to you talk about it, I was sitting there thinking, I wish that she could have been my science teacher. Maybe I would have liked it better. It was really, really interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's next for Miss LaQuina? Is your middle name Taisha?
Yes.
Williams. Yes, I've been reading. So what's next for you?
Well, right now I'm doing the service obligation with the family medicine, because I feel like I'm just going to back up and say that everybody should, anything that you want to do, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't be what you want to be. You can't do what you want to do because of where you come from, or because you don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. That just comes with trusting God and trusting the process and just standing firm on what you believe in. I also believe that a lot of people do not get into medicine or professional fields in general because we live in a world where you go to school and you're left with tons of debt. I think that's also a barrier, but just spreading the awareness that there are scholarships, there is funding, there is aid. So I was blessed to have, at least half of my debt wiped away, and will continue to strive to get the rest of it wiped away through scholarships and funding. So that's the obligation that I'm doing now. So I do plan to continue to work in family medicine as well as urgent care. I don't really see myself deterring away from those fields because, again, it's a little bit about everything versus, specializing. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I'm actually not sure in terms of like location, but I do know that I love being a PA. I may go back to school because in our career, there's something called Doctorate of Medical Sciences. Mm-hmm. And it's more of an administrative role where you do more research versus the clinical side of it. And so with that DMS attached to your name, you would be able to step more into administrative roles. So right now, because the title, I guess, is fairly new, you have PAs that are already owners of their own practices or chief of staffs in hospitals and, things like that. But as we get older, term goal, when I may not want to see patients 7:30 to 5 anymore, and I just may want to review charts or do more of an administrative role or oversee other medical professionals, that would be very beneficial to me. So if I do go back, I may pursue that DMS, and that's just a 1-year program. And then you get your Doctorate of Medical Sciences attached to your physician assistant license.
Okay, great. This has been interesting. You answered a question that I was going to ask, but you talked about, you're quite an inspiration. And my question, what I want you to do now is what I know you know how to do. As I was reading, you said, and you've already given credit to God for his grace and his blessings in your life. And give me a minute.
Okay.
Your parents, I want you to see them looking at you right now. And I'm telling you how proud I am of you. What would you say to them? Because I know that they had a great impact on where you are right now. And from your humble beginnings to where you are right now. Speak to your parents.
Well, if I was talking to my parents, I would reiterate something that I say to them quite often. Mom, Dad, everything I do it for you. You have taken me under your wing from, the day that I was conceived and carried me as your own. You always told me never to be afraid of what the future holds. Don't be afraid to push forward. Don't just say that the sky is the limit, go beyond the sky. And, that's what they always would tell me. It was never pressure on me. You always told me to find my calling in life and always know that God had a calling in my life as well. So I would just thank them for instilling in me and planting their seeds so that I can continue to be the flower that I am blooming, so that I can continue to plant seeds for others. They've always been supportive. They've always been there. Even when my hardship times, I always pick up the phone and still call mom and dad so they can say, oh, Queenie, well, it's okay. But remember, ye of little faith, or times may go hard, but think about this. This may be hard, but remember when that was hard and you overcame that, it's gonna be okay. And more importantly, they let me know that it's okay to not be okay. This year has been rough. Last year has been rough, especially for everybody, including, individuals in the medical field. So coming out as a PA in a pandemic, just freshly out, was very hard. So just that uplift from them, that motivation from them, times when I couldn't see them because I was so scared that I may pass something to them because of the patients that I see with COVID-19. Just letting them know, like, we know you love us. We know you're here for us. And, just continuing to encourage me, motivate me, continue to keep me driven in the word, and understanding that they've already lived their life, which is something they love to say. We've lived our life. Now it's time for you to live yours. And I'm like, yeah, mom and daddy, well, you took care of me, so don't worry. I'm always going to take care of you guys. I would tell my parents that. And also, I can't leave my brother out because our family is so tight knit. He's always been my role model. We're about 6.5 years apart. Everything he did growing up, I wanted to do. He got a job at 15. I wanted a job. Mom and dad, they always taught us to work for what we want, earn our little allowance. They'll help us. If they see us trying, they'll help us. But they want us to understand what work feels like in life, so you don't get out there and you're almost culture shocked, if that makes sense. Yeah. So he would do those things and I would say, oh, I want to be like that when I grow up, et cetera, et cetera. So my brother, I call him my partner in crime. So many times he's uplifted me, called me, Queen, I know you can do it. You can do it. I'm so proud of you. Continue to push forward. Tell me what you're dealing with. Work it out. Well, if you could do this, how would you do this for this patient? Or how would you do that for that patient? Because it is a struggle dealing with populations that come from low income areas and wanting to advocate for your patient to get them the exact care that they need, but they may not be able to afford it. So you are constantly fighting and advocating, for your patients, and just understanding that every room that I walk in, I'm going to treat that patient as if it's mom or dad or my brother. If it wasn't for them, I literally would not be where I am today.
Great. In one of your Instagram posts, you were pointing out that it was Women's History Month.
Yes.
When I saw that, and I was like, oh, this girl has to know that she is instrumental in Women's History Month. You are making history. And I wanted to honor you this month before March was gone. I wanted LaQuina Taisha Williams to know that you are making history, positive steps in this world. And today, this evening, tonight, I honor you. I am going to post this video on YouTube on Friday, which is the day that I honor the women that have made a difference in my life. I am uplifted and encouraged by you, and I'm sure this video will uplift and encourage some other women that may not feel that they can do the things that you do. Your name is, and you're going to say it for me. I'm giving you directions like the teachers. I am your name, and I am, and you're just going to take it and run with it. And we're going to be finished.
I'm thinking of my word.
Okay, it's all right. And it don't have to be one word. You're going to, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do it, yeah.
Well, I am LaQuina Taisha Williams. I am an achiever. I'm a believer. I'm a motivator. I'm a listener. I'm a leader. I'm a follower in the path that God directs me in, and I will continue to follow that for as long as I live.
And when you said that, my last words to you, Queenie, is continue to walk in it.
Yes, ma'am.
Walk in it. Yes.
For watching.